something we all need. Gotta have it now if you wanna succeed. Striving, surviving, that's no doubt. Sticking together, we gon' find a way out. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all.
Good afternoon, the back community. As always, thank you for staying engaged and staying involved. Tonight, we happen to have a young man who I used to mentor, who was out doing his own thing in the world right now. We have Mr. Craig Mook Cannon. What you go by these days now, man?
Craig to the public, but Mook to family. So
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep it Craig for the public then today, because I think I stopped calling you Mook a while ago myself.
Yeah.
Well, the back community. Today's guest that we have is Craig Cannon, and I look forward to telling his story. One, because we have some things in common. One being our love for Johnson C. Smith that we'll get into later. But before I go too far down the line, man, Craig, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to interview with us today, and I look forward to telling your story, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, my first question for you is this, man. It's a very simple one. I know who you are. Some of the people in the Capital District area might not. So here's your opportunity to tell the Capital District area who you are and what are you doing these days?
So again, my name is Craig Cannon. Born and raised here in Albany. Spent the first 18 years of my life here. So Albany has a special place in my heart. I went to Johnson C. Smith immediately after graduating from Albany High School. So I've been in Charlotte ever since that journey. So I've been in Charlotte for about 6 years now. And I studied communications. So, I'm in the media relations communications field. And so that's pretty much it.
Okay. Hey, listen, well, as you guys heard, just hearing Johnson C. Smith or Charlotte always resonates with me, and it brings a great pride to my heart. But it was too funny. What was it? It might have been yesterday. It might have been on yesterday's, my memories for Facebook had reminded me that, was it 9 years ago, you and I were at Five Guys before you were leaving to go to Johnson C. Smith.
Me, you, and Derek.
Yeah, listen, because he wasn't on the post, so I knew it was somebody else there, but I was just like, who else was there? That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
So to see both of you guys actually go and matriculate through Johnson C. Smith and graduate from there, both being from Albany, solidifies the bond that we all have with one another. On top of the fact that I want to say, is that your aunt or cousin? What is Wanda?
It's technically my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, I call her my aunt, but she's technically my cousin.
Yep. And I remember T introduced me to her a long time ago. So whenever I see her, it's all love. So, Albany is represented in Charlotte at Johnson C. Smith very well through all of us.
For sure.
Okay. Well, let me see, man. I know that you are in communications. How did you choose to get involved in communications, and was that something that you always wanted to be involved with?
No. A funny story is, in high school, I was a part of the explorations program, and I was a part of the criminal justice explorations program. And so I thought I wanted to be, in that field, either as a lawyer, an attorney, whatever, judge, whatever. But the program itself, I hate to say this, but I breezed through it my senior year of high school. And so when I got to college, the first year was pretty much generic courses, just kind of getting to know, the curriculum down there. And then my sophomore year was my sophomore year when I actually started taking criminology classes at Smith. And I remember I had Dr. Bledsoe Gardner. I don't know if she was there during your time, but I had one of her courses and I was in the library studying for an assignment. And I was just looking at the words like, I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why am I here right now? And so literally that night I left the library, went back to my dorm, and I was like, all right, Craig, what do you like to do? And I was like, I like interacting with people, whether it's in person, whether it's via social media. Like, I really like to interact with people. And then it just clicked. I was like, oh, communications, like you can study communications because you really learn how to make a profession out of that. So that's how I got involved in communications, and it was on ever since then.
Okay. Yeah, you know, sometimes it's always like we'll ask ourselves, I mean, was it something we were passionate about? Like most people who have a job right now, it probably isn't in the field for most of us for what we actually went to school with or went to school for. So it's always interesting to me to know how you got involved in a particular field, and was that always your goal? But yeah,
it was just one of the moments, and it just clicked for me. So I think it is something that I discovered that I was passionate about it.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Growing up in the Capital District area, what kind of programs did you take advantage of as a youth in the Capital District?
That's an interesting question.
And are they still around now?
You know, I don't know. My mom sent me to a couple camps, local camps around here. One was Frank Chapman. So that Frank Chapman summer camp I used to be a part of, but I was so shy. Like, I was so shy. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I would gravitate towards the counselors. And so I was a part of that. And then I was a part of the exploration program in high school, like I said, but not a lot of community programs. But in high school, I did become a after school activities coordinator with the YMCA for the Capital Region. And I was at Sheridan Preparatory Academy right around the corner from First, where I live. And that was an amazing experience in itself because I got to learn so much about the community, the youth, and their experiences. It was just so real. It was really, really eye-opening, and I'm forever grateful to my mentor, Miss Bev, because she's the one that hooked me up with that job. But I really got a chance to learn a lot more about this community through that. So yeah.
What was the program? I remember attending an award ceremony for you right before you graduated. I went to your graduation too, but I remember there was an award ceremony. It might have been at the Desmond. What program was that through?
So that was actually a scholarship that the Albany Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Theta, that was their scholarship. And at the time, I was a senior in high school. And one of my substitute teachers, Miss Mall, she was a part of that chapter. And she, told us about this scholarship opportunity, if you're going off to college, if you're interested. And I was interested because, I got Delta in my family. So I was like, what do I look like not, going after this? So I ended up applying for the scholarship, and I interviewed for the scholarship. And if anybody knows, Deltas are not to be played with. So I'm in a room full of Delta women. And I'm in high school, and I'm like, oh Lord, I hope they, are impressed by me. But in the end, I ended up getting offered a reward.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. I remember the pictures, and I couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, man. I always ask that question too because a lot of times, people that I've interviewed have always said that the resources that were available when they were young aren't readily available now. Mm-hmm. But so I wanted to see what kind of things you were involved in and whether or not if they were still available now.
I think that's one of the reasons that makes my experience in Albany so unique is because I don't like to use the word sheltered. I wasn't sheltered because I definitely was exposed, but I had a protection with my family. They protected me because the streets were getting so bad. So they protected me from a lot, that a lot of my other peers, they didn't have that type of protection. They didn't have a lot of exposure. And so I think that is what makes my experience so unique because we're from the same neighborhood, but we just have two totally different experiences.
Yep. And I think you're right too, because you definitely were protected Just growing up there, I'm not sure if you guys are still there now, if the family is still there, but you know, growing up there, I just remember you. I can't remember how old you were when I first met you, but
He was like 11.
Yeah, you definitely young, but
Yeah.
to see how you have matured as a person has truly been an honor and a privilege, because I think that you're a dynamic young man. You're not even that. I can't even call you young man anymore. You got all this damn hair on your face. You're probably old as dirt. You know what I mean? But to see you mature, to see you to grow, has been a blessing to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being there, man, for real. I mean, as a young age, it was nice to have another male figure in my life, you know, to teach me a lot. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And I wish I would have been able to be more, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Everybody was trying to figure out their own way, their own path.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I am extremely proud and happy for you, bro. So, and I'm just always excited because I can always share Johnson C. Smith with you.
Yeah, that's gonna be a forever connection. You know what I'm saying? I think we're just blessed to have been able to attend HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? That is a connection that is almost unexplainable. You know, when I talk to people who don't really understand it, they don't really get it. You know, who did not go. You know, but it's really a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? So that was one of the best experiences of my life.
Okay. Yeah, and I know we mentioned DST earlier, but I know you made a decision as well in undergrad. You know what I mean? You know, everybody makes mistakes.
Don't even start. Don't even start.
But what Greek affiliation do you have?
I am a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Epsilon Chapter, Johnson C. Smith University, spring 2014. So I'm a centennial.
Shout out to AE. I got a lot of love for AE.
The real AE, you know what I'm saying? I got mad love for the Kappas.
Let me see, man. I got a question for you. How did friendships and the bonds that you formed growing up affect your friendships that you have as an adult?
That's a good question.
You mentioned earlier how shy you were as a kid.
Yeah.
Has that had any spillover to your relationships as you've gotten older as an adult? Has it affected you now? Are you still close with people from before that you're close with now?
Definitely from high school. You know, I'm in touch with two grown women, but we all went to high school together. So I'm very close with them. Those are like my best friends. And I still keep up with a lot of people that I went to like New Covenant Charter School with and Blessed Sacrament with. I keep up with them on social media. So whether it's we see each other on Facebook, Instagram, and every now and again, you know, we give each other a shout out, just check in with each other. But I was a shy kid. I think it was because I was so different. And, you know, I liked things that, you know, not the average boy would like. So I was so different. And I think I stuck out like a sore thumb. You know, I'm this big, stocky kid.
I was about to say that. Plus you was tall as all outside.
Yeah. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. And then, you know, I wasn't into sports. You know, I wasn't playing basketball. I wasn't playing football. So I always felt like I was out of place in a sense. But that was something within my own self. And then I remember there was a pivotal point around the 6th grade where I made a decision to just stop being shy, like stop, you know, trying to, you know, shy away from who I am. And so I remember I started speaking out more. And I remember some of my friends was like, oh, you know, this is a side we've never seen before. Yeah, because I'm just, you know, I gotta be me. And even in high school, like I remember, you know, going to Albany High School, going from a Catholic school to a public high school, and such a large high school with all these people from the city. It was a culture shock. Like I remember coming home the first day and being like, I don't think I want to go back there. But I went and I literally made a decision to just speak to people. So some of my friends now, some of my acquaintances, I literally remember them just sitting next to me and I'd be like, hi, my name is Craig and you are. And that's just kind of how it went from there. And then by the time I became a senior, you know, I was comfortable. I was comfortable speaking with people who aren't like me. I was comfortable speaking to people who were like me. So, and that carried over into college. And I think that that played a major part in who I am today.
Nice. Yeah, man. It's I always say, like, excuse me, the people you keep around you matter. The people you keep around you will influence you either positively or in a negative manner too. But the people who happen to survive or the people who we keep up with after all of these years, you know, they either grow with you, they mature with you. And I mean, it's like some of the people that we were kids with, we might not be cool with anymore, but you know, we have learned to acquire a different level of friendship. So you know, I mean, some people always be like, you know, I got friends for 20-something years, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it matters. But I think how we have friendships as kids impact the way how we view what a friend is later. And as adults, for a lot of people, I don't think the word friendship is something that's thrown around as much as it probably should be. Or like, oh, I got a best friend, you know, like I have a best friend. I don't have any problem saying I got a best friend. You know, my best friend is Brandon Stanfield, you know, and I say it, and I purposely say it for a reason, because especially as a guy, some people are like, oh, what do you mean you got a best friend? No, I got a best friend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I asked the question. I always like to see how has your relationships matured as you have matured.
Yeah, for sure. And I tell people all the time, I got a couple best friends, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I've had different experiences. I got best friends from high school. I got best friends from college. I got work best friends. Like it's you know, I got a couple. So, yeah.
Let me see. I have one that's near and dear to me. And, you know, growing up on the block that I know that you grew up on was a hot spot. It was a hot spot, and it got really, really bad over the years. You know what I mean? But how have you been impacted by gun violence?
Never. Well, I can't say never personally. You know, one of my cousins on my father's side, you know, he was a victim of gun violence. But I do remember, you know, days where we just be sitting in the house, and I just hear gunshots. And unfortunately, it became normal. And I carried that into my adult life. I'm like, oh, it's just a shooting. Like, it's nothing. That unfortunately became normal. Is that okay? No, it's never okay. But that was just the environment that I was growing up in. And I always did my best to just mind my business. One of the things that did stick out to me, though, is I remember sitting in the living room one day and gunshots started going off. And it was actually a really young girl. Like, she was like a toddler who ended up getting shot and killed right on the next block up from First Street. So, and I remember seeing it all over the news and everything. And it was just like, wow, that could have been me. You know, it could be anybody. So, yeah. It's been interesting.
Okay. Yeah, man, I think we have become desensitized to it in a lot of ways because we hear about it so often. We've seen it so much, but it's not normal. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I always tell people all the time. It's just like, you know, unfortunately, for a lot of us, for a lot of people who still maybe live in particular areas, you see it. Actually, take that back. It's all over. You know what I mean? It's not even just limited to the Capital District. You know what I mean? It happens here where I'm at. It happens in Charlotte, period. But it's just like, it shouldn't be normal. You know what I mean? Losing your life at a young age shouldn't be normal. You should be able to make mistakes and not have to die from a mistake that you made, but have the time to mature through the mistakes and decisions to evolve into the human beings we will be as adults. But a lot of times we don't see friends or family members that make it there, and we've been and it's been a part of impacted by gun violence.
It's real. It's hard to watch. You know, some days when I'm in Charlotte, and I get on Facebook and I'm just seeing people, pour their hearts out because they just lost someone due to gun violence. You know what I'm saying? It's really, it's eye opening and it's sad. And I feel for my city, like I feel for them. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's different too. I tell people this is just like, the violent aspect happens all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. But coming from Albany, we're a smaller city, we're a smaller community. So when something happens, it hits home, it hits everybody at the same time. It's like you might be one person removed from that person, literally, and it's just different. When you're in a larger city, that's not to say that those same type of things don't happen, because they do, but the impact is felt immediately and to a lot more people because it's such a smaller spot. So just thinking about how much has changed over the years and the amount of people we've lost in the Capital District alone, it's alarming just to think about.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Let me see. This has become a very good question for season 2. I always ask, if you could prevent a young person from making a mistake, Craig, what would it be?
Ooh. If I could prevent them from making a mistake, that's a good question. I don't think I was ready for that one. I don't know. I gotta think about that. Okay. Because I've seen a lot of people make a lot of different mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes you need those experiences.
Thanks.
But if it's one mistake that I've seen often just by being a bystander, is people not being true to who they really are.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to impress a certain crowd or a certain crew. Albany's real small and people talk a lot. But I think people miss out on the opportunity to truly just grow into themselves, especially earlier on, because, they succumb to whatever their environment is, whether that's gang violence, or whatever it may be. If there was a way that I could help and encourage more people to just be themselves, because deep down, I know that some people have made some gritty and grimy mistakes, but they're really good people in their hearts. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us, we know their families, we know their moms, we know their dads, we know their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that I went to high school with or even middle school with, they make huge mistakes. And we hear about them in the community, and then it so happens that, I know somebody that knows their people, and they're good people. So that I think that would be one of the things.
Okay. Listen, most of the people have hit it spot on in just saying the benefits of making a mistake. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've become a better person, period, as a result of the mistakes that I made. I believe in holding myself accountable, and I believe in introspection. So it's just like, if I say something wrong or I do something wrong, it'll sit with me, it'll fester with me to the point that I got to revisit it. Mm-hmm. And then I got to go back and revisit the person that I might have done that to or with, you know what I mean? And it's just like, so mistakes can be very valuable if you choose to learn from them. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we both have probably seen people that continue to make the same type of mistakes and haven't learned from them. So,
yeah.
Let me see. Do you find setting goals motivating or stressful?
For me personally, it's always been motivating. Setting a goal. Now I do endure stress on the journey to meet that goal, so I'm not gonna sit here and flex like it ain't stressful. But I think that's the beauty in it, is just overcoming those challenges. But yeah, I've always been a goal setter, even as a young age, from a young age. Whether it had been a financial goal, I was gonna save up all my Christmas money to buy whatever. or, I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to always go to an HBCU. So all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, like that was my goal. And I did whatever I could to make sure that I met that goal. And when I got to high school, it was very challenging. The curriculum was different, and I was a bit of a slacker. So, that's one thing that people may not realize about me, just in terms of speaking with me. Yeah, I slacked off in high school. My grades were not the best, and I graduated probably towards the bottom of the class, but I still made sure that I got my butt to college because I had that exposure and I knew that that was something that I always wanted to do. And all throughout college, I set goals for myself. And even now, like just setting goals within my career, my field, all right, I'm always asking myself, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? And then also within that, understanding in that journey, your goals will always change. I don't care what nobody tells you, they're going to change. And you got to be open to it because life will throw you some curveballs. And, you and I have had conversations about it. Life will throw you some curveballs and it makes you reevaluate, all right, what's important to me? How do I get there? So, yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that one. I'm gonna stay right along those lines. If you could define success, what does success look like to you? How would you define success?
To me now, especially at this current stage in my life, success is whatever makes you happy, whatever is fulfilling to you. It is extremely personalized. My idea and vision of success may not be the next person's, and I respect that. Because you can't want something for someone else if they don't want it themselves, right? So, but if you are doing something, especially if it's positive in your life, it doesn't have to be anything grand. I went to college, yes, and I would encourage anybody to go to college, but you don't always have to take that path to be successful. You know what I'm saying? There are many other things that you can do with your life. And as long as you're doing something productive and you get a sense of fulfillment, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, whatever your circumstances are, I think that to me is more successful than having a bunch of money, having the latest car, having 10,000 degrees. Like, that's cool. You accomplished something, but are you really fulfilled in your life? And so it would be extremely personalized. And I think fulfillment is a measure of success, the biggest measure of success for me, at least.
Okay. I like it. Let me see. Thinking of your younger self.
Ooh.
So thinking of your younger self, the younger Craig, that shy guy that you introduced us to earlier today, that we used to call Mook, or I used to call Mook.
Yeah.
Thinking of your younger self, what is something you wish someone would have told the younger Craig Cannon?
Ooh, and it can be anything?
Yep. Anything.
What's something that I wish somebody would have told me? Adulting is gonna be difficult. No, for real though, like, I think people see the accomplishments that I publish, for myself. So they saw that I left Albany. I went to high school. I went to college. I went to graduate school immediately after college. Sorry, I'm catching a cramp in my leg, so I gotta get it together. But they see me, they've seen me accomplish certain things in my life and they think I have it all together. But as an adult, I really don't. I wish somebody would have taught me about credit. I wish somebody would have taught me how to better manage, my finances. Some of the basic life skills that you need to be, quote unquote, successful. I wish somebody would have taught me a little bit earlier. You know what I'm saying? But it's a learning process, even as an adult, learning how to deal with people who aren't like you, who may not like you, especially in the workplace. We all, to some extent, have dealt with that. Just learning how to navigate those real life experiences, I think, is something that we need to teach our youth a little bit earlier on.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I think that, adulting 101 is serious, because a lot of times we look at people, we look at things, and we look at the end result. But a lot of times we don't focus in on how much work or how much hardship or, how much adversity a person had to endure to get to where they ultimately ended up. And that's part of the journey too. Being able to have the skills to know that it's not just going to come to you. It's not just going to be easy. I'm going to have to forge relationships. I'm going to have to do some stuff I might not want to do right now so I can be greater later.
And also understanding that even if you're going down the same path as somebody else, your journey to get to the same goal might be different than the person next to you. Because I remember, being in college and watching some of my classmates truly struggle with the curriculum. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, oh, I got it. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's journey is not going to be the same. Even if the end goal is the same, their journey, their struggles are not the same. In high school, I remember going to what they called FAFSA night for, those going to college to help them fill out the applications. And, there was one student who was there without a family, without the support of their mom or their dad or whoever, and I had to take a step back and realize, it's not necessarily that their parent isn't there for them, but maybe their parent is out working 2-3 jobs trying to support their family. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that I recognize that as a privilege that I had to have my mom, walking side by side with me, encouraging me, throughout that process. And so everybody's journey is different. And I think we need to put a little bit more respect on people's journeys, to get to a certain point in their lives, because it's hard. It's really hard out here.
Facts. Let me see, man. I got a couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay. This is my bonus question. One of my bonus questions. What is your favorite place to visit in Albany, and why?
Oh, favorite place to visit. I'm not gonna say the same thing that my cousin said. She said her grandparents' house, my grandparents' house. And that is one place I do love. But one place I truly enjoy going to when I come back home, and this is gonna sound real greedy, but I love going to Ted's. Like, I have to go to Ted's every time I come home. And I particularly want to go to the one in Waterville. Like, that's the only one I want to go to. But I have a connection from such a young age. I don't know if you remember, but my Uncle Rocky, who used to live upstairs, my Uncle Rocky and my Aunt Maz, they would always take me to Ted's as a little kid. And that's where, I learned how to eat fish, and it's just, it's a special place that particular location has in my heart. So every chance I get, I always try to go to Ted's. But definitely my grandparents' house. I mean, the home is where the heart is, and that's where it is. So,
listen, I think I'm gonna try. I'm gonna work on getting a representative from Ted's in here. I'm not gonna lie, because you're not the first person to mention Ted's, and then somebody did recently text me and ask me about getting Ted's on here. So I'm gonna work on that.
You should, man. They've been a staple in this community. I mean,
okay.
The food is banging. Like, I ain't gonna flex. The food is banging to me.
And I'm not gonna lie, I can't recall eating at Ted's.
Tyrell.
I know. I get it every time I say it. Like, what?
Yeah, man. Nah, you gotta go to Ted's.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that one.
Please.
Let me see. What about your life's path, Craig, are you most proud of?
I don't want to sound redundant, but I never really strayed away from who I was. I'm not easily influenced. And that's no disrespect to anybody, but I'm just not easily influenced. And so if I feel something's off, I ain't doing it. Period. Like, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just proud of that because, like I said, I've met so many people, even in my adult life, who don't know how to be true to who they really are because they're trying to impress people. And I've never been that person. And I think I wear that as a badge of honor. Like,
Nice.
if you know Craig, you really know Craig and you know who he is. I try to be as transparent with people as possible.
Nice.
So yeah, and I love everything that I've accomplished from, getting a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. But even more importantly, people really got to know who I was in that journey and in that process. And I'm still learning even more. Like we all grow, we all change. So I'm still learning things about myself, and, I'm always trying to grow wherever I can. But I think that's the thing that I am most proud of is just remaining true to who I am, no matter what journey I was on, no matter what I'm going out for, whatever I'm doing, like, nah, this is who I am.
Okay. I got a home run hitter for you.
Oh,
homecoming or no homecoming to this year? Go.
Oh, you can't put me on the spot like that. You know who my aunt is? The director of alumni relations? Come on. But okay, so you're asking me what would I choose personally?
Any plans? I just bought my plane ticket yesterday, so I know I'm going. Of course, the Delta variant has its own plans, so we shall see. But homecoming or no homecoming? Go.
I'm gonna say homecoming. Only because I can try and talk. I've tried to do it before. I've tried to talk myself out of going. And with my friends and the line brothers that I have, they not letting that happen. So I'm gonna just suck it up and be like, yeah, homecoming. If it's on, I'm there.
Okay, listen, man. I don't know how you could that could even be something that you might miss out on. It's just like, I'm trying to go as often as I can when I can. Of course, balancing work and life. And family, but yeah, so I'm thankful to be able to go this year. Me and some of my frat brothers are all planning on going down together today. We're all married and traveling together.
So that's what's up.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I told you I won't hold you up too long. I wanted to be able to dive into your story because one, for me to be able to see you, like you said, since around 11 or so. To see where you are now, it's a blessing and an honor to be able to share with you the love that we have for Charlotte, for Johnson C. Smith is another honor. And for me to be able to say, JCSU is something that most people won't even understand. So, Craig, I truly appreciate you taking your time to open up to us and letting the Black community know more about you. You are a shining star out of the Capital District area, and I wish nothing but continued success for you moving forward, bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you for providing this platform, for members of the community who have come through this community. So keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, because our stories do need to be told. And I think, what you're doing right now is an excellent start, and it's only going to go up from there. So thank you.
Well, hey, listen, I appreciate it, and I look forward to keeping it coming, man. I won't hold you up any longer. I hope you can get up so you can work on that cramp.
I know, right? Yes. All right, bro.
All right, man. Peace.
Keep
coming up the ladder. A Black Lives Matter. It matter. So all you young people, give me all. 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 Matter. A Black Lives Matter. They matter. A Black Lives Matter.